Okay. See here, in this animal tissues lesson, we can observe the keywords: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, insulature, bone marrow, bone, cartilage, muscle tissue, nerve tissue, Ranvi nodes, and blood groups. Okay. I repeat once again keywords from this lesson: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, insulature, bone marrow, bone, cartilage, muscle tissue, marrow tissue, Ranvir nodes, and blood groups. Okay. So here, before going to start this lesson, animal tissue, we have to discuss about a great person. That person is Marcelo Malfigi, 1628 to 1694. Okay, date of birth and death day. So, who is Marcelo Malfigi? Why we have to discuss now about him? He is a father of animal histology. Father of animal histology. What is histology, sir? What is histology, sir? So, histology is nothing but a study of tissues. Okay, histology is nothing but a study of tissues. So, father of animal histology, Marcelo Malfigi, 1628 to 1694. Is Marcelo Malpighi was born at Crevalcore near Bologna, Italy in 1628, as I told. In 1649, he began his professional studies at the University of Bologna, Italy. Okay, and in 1653 graduated in philosophy and medicine. 1653 graduated in philosophy and medicine. He is regarded with a justification as the founding father of animal histology, and a number of histological structures still bear his name. If you look Malpighian capsules in the kidney, okay, behalf of his name, Malpighian capsules in the kidney, we can observe the Malpighian capsules behalf of this person, father of animal histology, Marcelo Malpighi. The Malpighian layer in the skin, Malpighian layer in the skin, Malpighian tubules in the excretory system of insects and a man also. Okay, Malpighian tubules in the excretory system. We can observe the Malpighian tubules in excretory system of insects and man, etc. Okay, so this is about Marcelo Malpighi, who is a father of animal histology. Histology is nothing but a study of tissues. Okay, so these many days we have observed about plant tissues and how that different life processes are carried out by different tissues in plant. Likewise, in animal, how the different functions will be carried. Okay, so to know that, let us enter into this lesson, animal tissues, chapter 3, biology. Okay, here we had learned about plant tissues in the earlier chapter. Do animals also have the four major groups of tissues as in plants? To study about the animal tissues, we can examples of we can take examples of tissues present in some animals that we see around us. The chapter on plant tissues, we observed that different functions were carried out by different tissues. Okay, in plant tissues we had observed different type of functions are carried out by different tissues. We can see the division of labor because multicellular organisms, plant tissues in plants and human beings are multicellular organisms. So plants are multicellular organisms. What we can see in around us, So the different functions, many cells are there. That's why we can see the division of labor. So different functions can be carried out by different tissues. Okay. So here different functions were carried out by different tissues. We will try to see whether this happen in animals also. Okay. In plant tissues, okay, fine. The different functions were carried out by different tissues, fine. But what about animal tissues? We will try to see whether this happening in animals also or not. Okay, so we know that different organ systems are carried out different functions. Now here given one box, enlist them serial number 1, 2, 3, and in that column organ system is there, in one column function is there. So here we have different types of organ systems. Please stand line all of you. Okay, here we have serial number, organic system, and a function. So here so many organic systems are there in our body, like digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, and endocrine system, skeletal system, muscular system, and nervous system. So like the different tissues are there, sorry, organs are there, organ systems are there, and their functions also. For example, endocrine system. Okay, important endocrine system. So if we take as an example of endocrine system for organic system, here what is the function of endocrine system, children? Is regulates body functions. Endocrine system regulates body functions by chemicals, nothing but the hormones. Regulate body functions by chemicals, nothing but hormones. That is endocrine system. Then I will take one more example for you to understand about organic system, organ system. Sorry. See here, skeletal organ system. What is a skeletal organ system function? Is skeletal organ system supports and moves body, protects also. Okay, supports and moves body, and it can help in protection also. Let us take one more example. Okay, here nervous system we can take. Okay, as you know about nerve cell, neuron, which help in the transmission. Okay, nervous system is one of the organ system. Function of nervous system is coordinates activity of other organ systems. Okay, nervous system coordinate activities of other organ systems and respond to sensation. Okay, nervous system, one of the example for organ system, the function of nervous system is coordinates activities of other organ systems and respond to sensation. If we take like that muscular system, organ system, locomotion, movement, okay, locomotion. Here our legs are locomotory organs. Okay, and heat production also. See, when we feel cool weather, okay, very cool weather in the situation, like we can observe shivering in our muscles. So by taking that shivering and movement of that muscles, muscles can produce heat energy. As you know, energy neither created nor destroyed, but it can change from one form to another form. Right? Energy neither creator nor destroyed, but it can change from one form to other form. So here, by the movement of muscles, heat energy can be produced to level to normalize our body temperature. Okay, so heat that can helpful in heat production also. What is that? Muscular organ system. Like that, many are there. You can take any sum of examples here and fill this box. Enlist them in this serial number 1, 2, 3 organ system and a function. Okay, please don't leave empty. You have to fill that. Okay. Next, do some tissues help the organs to carry out their functions? How do they do so? Discuss with their friends and write. Okay. So there are different kinds of tissues in the animals to perform different functions like plant tissues also. Okay. So as well as plant tissues, in animal tissues also, in animals also, different kinds of tissues we can observe. The different kinds of tissues in the animals to perform different functions like plant tissues. As you know, what is tissue? Tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. Tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. Okay. So here some tissues, some tissues cover and protect the body. Some tissues cover and protect the body. Some tissues helps in the movement which is performed by muscles. Okay. And bones and other types of tissues make a connection between these two tissues. Okay. And some tissues carry information to respond to stimuli. Who that? Nervous system. Before that, what? Muscular system, skeletal system, like that. Okay. Already we have discussed about that just now. We will try to learn more about the tissues by doing the following activities. So to understand well, we have to do some activities. Okay, we have to do some activities. So that's why we will try to learn more about the tissues by doing the following activities. Let us go for the lab activity. Okay, here. First of all, as you know, like when we are going to do that lab activity, we have to remember these headings. First of all, aim. Okay, next apparatus. And here, if there is needed, you can write materials required and apparatus separately. For example, apparatus means a slide, okay, microscope, brush, forceps, like that. These all are comes under apparatus. And what about water or any tissue, any sample, plant sample or animal sample, like that? Those are comes under materials required. So these instruments are apparatus, that rest of that materials. So further, for idea I am telling here, there is no need of that. Just you can mention apparatus. That's it. But if they ask compulsory, you have to know what is the difference in between apparatus and materials required. In higher studies, they will ask what is the difference in between apparatus and materials required. Here, okay. So any tissue, a sample, and water, like that, alcohol, like that, etc., comes under that materials required. And here apparatus means the instruments comes under apparatus. Next, you can go for the procedure. Okay, aim, apparatus, and the procedure. And after procedure, or in some books they will give before procedure, precautions are there. Precautions. So here you have to go for the precautions. Then after precautions, observation. Then if you follow the after apparatus precautions, later you can go for the procedure. Procedure after observation. Okay. After observation, you have to go for the result. After result, you can go for the what after result? Yes, you have to write your own. Okay, that finally what we are thinking about that particular lab activity. Okay, so like that you have to. And here, first of all, aim. Okay, first of all, aim. Identification of tissue in collected sample. Okay, Identification of a tissue in collected sample. This is our aim. Identification of tissue in collected sample. What about apparatus? Microscope, slide, forceps, and brush. Okay. If you separately write about materials required, the dilute HCl and etc. somewhat will comes under the materials required. But here apparatus only one only there. That's why here dilute HCl also written in this apparatus. Okay. Microscope, slide, dilute HCl, forceps, comma, brush. Okay. Next, procedure. Collect a small piece of a chicken. Okay. Collect a small piece of a chicken with bone from your nearby chicken center or market. Okay. Collect a small piece of a chicken with bone from your nearby chicken center or market. However, nowadays it is a less price only. Okay, no problem. You can go and collect. So collect a small piece of a chicken with bone from your nearby chicken center or market. For observing each type of tissue, you need to follow specific procedure, children, here. For observing each type of tissues, you have to follow specific procedure. After completion of every activity, do not forget to draw the diagram. It is must. Okay. Do not forget to draw the diagram. Okay. Don't forget to draw the diagram, because what you are observed under the microscope, you have to draw that diagram. You have to compare with your textual book, and then you will get the idea. Okay, so don't forget to draw the diagram. Okay. Next, don't forget to draw the diagram and discuss the questions. Put it in dilute HCl. What you have collected, that chicken sample, put it in dilute HCl for 2 hours. For 2 hours. So why we have to keep in dilute HCl? Because so that collected particular piece, chicken piece, when you put in dilute HCl, we have chance to take the skin part of the chicken piece separately, and we can get that thin and slice material, slice part. So this thin and slice part, which is helpful to observe that perfectly under the microscope, we can get perfectly. Okay. So here, that's why we have to put the chicken piece in dilute HCl for 2 hours. Okay. After that, you have to collect that piece from the dilute HCl, and with help of that forceps. Don't use your hands directly, and take the skin part of the chicken piece and place the material with the forceps or brush on the slide. Don't touch, because in your hands the thousands of bacteria will be. So that may be stick for the sample, and the bacteria also can be appeared under the microscope. That's why we may have chance to get confusion. We cannot understand the proper structure of the particular collected sample. So you don't use directly with hand, and you have to use the either forceps or brush to collect the skin part of the chicken piece, and for placing that material on the slide also, you have to use a forceps or brush. Okay, point brush you will get. Okay. Next, then keep another slide on it and press both the slides gently. Okay, because why we have to keep one more slide and press gently? Because to keep that particular sample on the slide uniformly, to spread uniformly that particular sample on the slide, we have to take that one more slide and press gently. Okay, by that thin piece can be uniformly spread on the slide. By that we have chance to observe very clear image under the microscope. So here we have to take the skin part of the chicken piece and place the material with force per brush on the slide. Then keep another slide on it and press both the slides gently and place a cover slip. After that, gently you have to place a cover slip. As you know already, the transparent glass material, either that may be circular or like with different shapes also will be. Mostly we can use circular. That small thin piece, sorry, thin slice cover slip. Okay, cover slip you have to keep on the particular sample. Okay, so place a cover slip, tap on it. Okay, so when you keep another slide on it and when you press both slides gently, you have to place a cover slip, tap on it and observe under microscope. Observe under microscope. Draw the diagram of what you have observed. Don't forget to draw the diagram. Very, very important it is. This is when you are observing, you have to keep a observation book in your hand and one pencil also. So by that observing, you have to draw the observation diagram in your observation book. Okay. Don't forget to draw the observed diagram under microscope. Okay, children. Next. Okay. Don't forget to draw observation diagram in your notebook. Nothing but that is your observation book here. Okay. Next, why we need to draw the diagram? So by drawing the diagram, we have chance to compare the diagram with the following picture. See here, we have figure number 1, epithelial tissue. Okay, so yeah, about epithelial tissue, one line I'm going to tell the fact about epithelial tissue here. This is epithelial tissue, children. Observe carefully. Okay, epithelial tissue covering or protecting tissue. This is covering or protecting tissue. Epithelial tissue is a covering or protecting tissue inside or outside of animal body. Epi, covering or protecting tissue inside or outside of a animal body. This is called epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue, which tissue cover and protect tissue, which tissue can cover and protect inside or outside of animal body. The tissue is called epithelial tissue. I repeat once again. Epithelial tissue is nothing but which tissue cover and protect inside or outside of animal body is called the tissue is called epithelial tissue. Okay. So your however you can observe here okay your notebook and compare your diagram with the following picture. Okay, with the following picture, that is the epithelial tissue. So here now try to find out the answers. Are all the cells similar? How are they arranged? Are these cells tightly packed and arranged as continuous sheath? Is there any intercellular space? Think why these cells look like continuous sheath. You here, okay, observe carefully. You will get the answers for these all questions. And here, why these cells look like continuous sheath? Okay, continuous sheath we can observe here. Does membranous tissue over and protect the animal body? As I told, epithelial tissue cover or protect the inside or outside animal body. Okay. So to know about that, again we have here procedure 2 also. Okay. So next procedure 2, we can go for the procedure 2. Take a sterilized syringe needle. Okay. You have to use a sterilized syringe needle and collect 1 drop of blood from finger. Why we need to use sterilized syringe needle? To not to get any other diseases. Yeah, that's why we have to use sterilized syringe, because we are like making injure that particular finger, and for collecting one drop of blood from fingertip. Okay, so to not to get infected, that's why we have to take here a sterilized syringe needle, and we have to collect one drop of blood from fingertip by pricking, okay, with a syringe needle. So here we are pricking that. We are, please stay in line, all of you. Please stay online. I will share you the screen. Okay. Now here, so here we are pricking that fingertip. That's why we need to take a sterilized syringe. Okay, sterilized syringe needle. So here to collect one drop of blood from fingertip by pricking with a syringe needle under guidance of teacher. Okay, so you need to follow precautions here under guidance of your teacher. Otherwise, so that's why you need to follow. You need to follow the perfect procedure. That's why you have to take guidance of your teacher, and you have to follow the precautions. If you not follow the precautions, then you may get a heart. Okay, you may get heart and you may get injured. That's why you have to follow the precautions and you have to take the guidelines of your teacher when you are picking that picking that is fingertip with a syringe needle. Take a slide. Okay, keep the finger on the slide to collect one drop of blood. Put another slide on it gently and press both sides as we have done in procedure 1. Observe under the microscope. Draw the diagram of what you have observed under the microscope in your notebook. Don't forget to draw here also. Okay. So by drawing that, you have chance to compare your diagram with the following picture. Let us observe here the following picture. Here, these are blood. Yeah, different types of blood cells are there. So this is one group, this is one tissue, that is one tissue, this is one tissue. Okay. So in this procedure, you can identify only red blood cells. Compare with above diagram. So blood contains all the cells shown in the picture. Okay, compare with the above diagram. So blood contains all the cells shown in the picture. You might not be able to find them under microscope. For this, you need a separate technique. Visit a nearby blood testing center, the pathological lab, and submit a report on it after collecting the information. Okay, you can observe only red blood cells. Okay, to observe that all cells, you have the different technique. Then if you want that, you can visit a nearby blood testing center, pathological lab, and submit a report on it after collecting the information. Okay, if you go there, if you visit that pathological lab, they will give the information about that. Okay, so that is a concept. Next, here we have to go for the like procedure. Before going to go enter into the procedure 3, let us recall once procedure 1 and 2. Then this procedure 3 we can discuss in next class. So here, so today we have learned about the animal tissues, and father of animal tissues is a Marcelo Malpighi, 1628 to 1694. Okay, and on behalf of his name, Malpighian capsules in the kidney, Malpighian layer in the skin, and Malpighian tubules in the excretory system of insects and man. Okay, so still bear his name by this Malpighian capsules and in kidney like that. And this Marcelo Malpighi is a father of animal histology. Histology nothing but study of tissues. What is tissue, sir? Tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. As we have discussed, as we have discussed in last class about animal tissues, how the arrangement of tissues and how what is the what life processes were carried out by different tissues in that plant. And now let us observe that the different functions carried out in animal tissues. Okay, so to know that here we have to go further some of activities. Here before that here we have to enlist them like organ systems and functions. We know that different organ systems carry out different functions. Okay, so here we have discussed about the endocrine system, skeletal system, muscular system, and nervous system, and digestive system, respiratory system, and their functions also even. Okay, so some tissues cover the cover the body, protect the body, and some tissues helps in the locomotion. Some tissues helps in the carry information, respond to stimuli, etc. Now here we have lab activity. In lab activity, we have to follow the headings like first of all aim, next apparatus. After apparatus, we have to write materials. Otherwise, apparatus only you can add both. And after that, you have to write precautions. After precautions, you have to write procedure. Okay, after following the procedure, you have to go for the observation, write your observation, and however you are writing your observation while you are observing under the microscope, don't forget to note down that observation in your observation book. So after observation, you have to go for the result. Okay, so after then the lab activity will complete. After result also we need to write our opinion. Okay, your own opinion on that particular activity. Okay, by taking help of the result and all. So to that what we have to take and what procedure we have to follow, already we discussed clearly in that lab activity 1. Okay, so here we have observed that epithelial tissue covering and protecting which tissue outside of a animal body. So that is a epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue helps in covering or protecting tissue inside or outside of a animal body. Okay. Then let us go for that procedure too. As is we have to follow, and here we need to take a bread sample as a sample. We are not taking here chicken. Okay, there we have to use we have used that chicken piece, and to get a thin slice piece, we have to keep that chicken piece in HCl, dilute HCl for 2 hours. After that, you have to collect that thing, and you can follow the procedure. As it is here, instead of chicken piece, we are going to collect a blood sample. So here we are going to prick that fingertip. That's we need to use here the more precautions. We have to use here sterilized syringe needle. Sterilized syringe needle we have to use, and we have to follow the as it is the procedure and observe under microscope. And here, don't forget to draw your observation in your notebook. Okay, don't forget to draw your observation in your notebook, and by the drawing there you have to you have chance to compare your textbook diagram, and you can know about that. Okay, so we can get that only blood cells and the rest of the cells also there, like as tissues, a group of cells is tissue. If you need to get that information, you have to go for the pathological lab. Okay, blood testing center, and you can get that information and submit a report on it after collecting the information. Okay, then in next class let us go for the procedure 3. Okay, muzzle of a chicken. Okay, very interesting. Okay, let us meet in next class. Till you have to keep in touch with these all, and don't forget to read these all. And thank you, Varandal. Let us meet in next class with the beautiful slides. So thank you, Varandal.
Good morning, all of you. How are you all today? Hope you are all fine. Did you all write your examinations well? Christina, Vinay, Kiran. Who is this? Rishabh? Okay, very good, very good. Deepthi. So hope that you all have written your examinations well. Shall we go ahead with the next part? Let me share the screen now. So this is the lesson we have been learning in the last session. Okay, class 9 English unit 3 reading. Swami is expelled from school. What do you mean by expelled? Expelled, it means removed, terminated, dismissed. So the aim of this lesson is to make you understand the importance of school life and education. As I said you earlier in the previous session, the school life is very important for each and every person in his life, isn't it? So in school life, what do you get? You will learn a lot of things. You will get some good friends. This is the step towards a bright future, isn't it? When you study well for the first 20 years in your career, the remaining 40 years you can enjoy. If you don't study well now, what is going to happen in your future? You will be troubled a lot. If you don't get a good job, when you want to work as a laborer, so it will be a terrific situation then, isn't it? So study hard now and get a good job and lead a wonderful life. This is what we have to say. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about a person named, a boy named Swaminathan. So he is called as Swami in this lesson. And our today's agenda is introduction, vocabulary, style sheet and face sheet. Already we have covered in the previous session and explanation of the lesson. So before we start the lesson, I will just go through the glossary section, which I have explained in the previous session. So just let me read it. Flushed. What do you mean by flushed? Flushed, it means red and hot. A flushed face, it means an angry face. Ominous, suggesting that something bad is going to happen. So good omens are there, ill omens are there. So here ominous, it means suggesting that something bad is going to happen. And ominous look in his face, it means that he came with a face which shows that, or which says that something bad is going to happen. Eminence, it means the quality of being highly accomplished and respected. But in this lesson, it says that a height. Flog, it means a beat with a stick as a punishment. You are always flogged in your school by your class teachers, isn't it? So when you are absent, when you don't complete your homework, when you don't complete your classwork book, you are usually flogged by your teachers. Ascertain, it means find out. You need to ascertain. It means you need to find out. Perspiration, sweat. You all know what is meant by sweat, isn't it? Knuckles, it means part of a finger at a joint where the bone is near the surface. So these joints are known as knuckles. So in your schools, you might have seen that the teachers are beating here on your palm. In the past, teachers used to beat this part, the other side of your palm. And a rap, it means severe blow with a cane. Severe blow with a stick. Cane, it means stick. Cane is a word which can be used as a verb and as well as a noun. So cane as a noun, it means stick. Caned, it means got punished with a stick. And gaol. What do you mean by gaol? So it's an old term. The meaning of that word is jail. Gaol, it means jail. Discreet, it means tactful or careful in saying something. You must be discreet when you are dealing with a difficult situation or a problematic situation. You must be discreet, it means you must be careful in saying something when you are dealing with a problematic situation. And the next word is distress, it means extreme pain. Distress, extreme pain. He is in distress, he is in extreme pain. Thrash, Another word, beat repeatedly and violently with a stick. When your teacher is extremely angry, he loses his control and he beats you repeatedly and violently with a stick. So thrash, it means hit or beat repeatedly. Whack, the act of hitting vigorously. So again, thrash, whack, cane, beat, hit, all these words has almost the same. All these words have almost the same meaning. So whack, it means the act of hitting vigorously in an uncontrolled manner. Brigand. So you are all brigands, isn't it? A member of a gang of bandits or thieves. A member of a gang of bandits. Bandits, it means thieves, a kind of thieves. They used to rob the travelers. Bandits, it means the thieves. They used to rob the travelers, especially. Desperation. Desperation, it means anxiety or worry. Restrain, keep under control. Restrain, it means keep under control. And the next word is grasp. Grasp, it means seize and hold firmly. You grasp your mother's hand when you were a child, isn't it? You used to grasp your mother's hand when you were a child. So these all words I have explained in the previous lesson, previous session, and we will go ahead with the lesson now. And we went through the style sheet and face sheet as well. Okay, we will start the lesson here. Already I have covered the first paragraph. Just let me read it. Swami is expelled from school. The headmaster entered the class with a slightly flushed face and a had ominous look in his eyes. Swaminathan wished that he had been anywhere but there at that moment. The headmaster surveyed the class for a few minutes and asked, "Are you not ashamed of coming and sitting there after what you did yesterday?" So on that particular day, what happened? The headmaster came to the class with an angry face. So he just asked the students whether they were not ashamed of coming and sitting out there after what they did yesterday. Just as a special honor to them, he read out the names of a dozen students or so that had attended the class. So from this sentence, we can understand that only a dozen students attended the previous class and the remaining all the students were absent. That's why the headmaster was very serious. After that, he read out the names of those had kept away. Kept away, it means absent. And asked them to stand on their benches. Then the headmaster gave them a punishment. He asked them to stand on their benches. He felt that the punishment was not enough and asked them to stand on their desks. After that, the headmaster felt that the punishment was not enough. They deserved to get some more punishment. That's why he asked them to stand on their desks. Swaminathan was among them and felt humiliated at that eminence. So Swaminathan was one of the boy who was absent the previous day. When the headmaster asked him to stand on the desk, he felt humiliated. He felt insulted at that eminence. It means he was standing on a height, isn't it? Then they were lectured. When it was over, they were asked to offer explanations one by one. One said that he had an attack of a headache and therefore could not come to school. He was asked to bring a medical certificate. So the first boy, he said that he had a headache in the previous day. That's why he was absent from school. Then the headmaster said that you have to bring a medical certificate. Medical certificate is a certificate that you can obtain from a hospital. When you go and consult a doctor, he will give you a medical certificate. So previously, in our childhood days, our teachers used to ask medical certificate to confirm whether the reason of being absent was genuine or not. Nowadays, you have school diaries. Just you need a signature from your parent. That's enough, isn't it? So during that time, we were asked to bring a medical certificate to the school to prove that we were sick on the previous day. Okay, already that paragraph we had covered. So if anybody was absent, they could just understand it. That's all. Okay, here we go with the lesson. The second said that while he had been coming to school on the previous day, someone had told him that there would be no school and he had gone back home. So the second student, when he had been coming to school on the previous day. So on the roadside, there was a person, he told the boy that the school has a school day on that day. The headmaster replied that if he was going to listen to every loafer who said there would be no school, he deserved to be flogged. So when a boy, suppose if you are going to school, on the way you met a person and he said that today is a holiday. Will you go back to your home, or you will come back to the school and check whether there is a holiday today or not? If you are wise, you will definitely come to the school and confirm it, isn't it? Yes. So the headmaster replied that if you are going to listen to every loafer, it means a person who doesn't have a job. He simply roam here and there. Loafer. Who said there would be no school? He deserved to be flogged. So if you listen to a loafer, you should be flogged. You should be punished with a stake. Anyway, why did he not come to school and verify? At least you could come to the school and verify whether there is school or not. Then the boy kept silence, no answer. The punishment was pronounced, 10 days attendance cancelled. So he was given the punishment, and that his attendance, even if he attends the next 10 days class, his attendance will be cancelled, and the next punishment is 2 rupees fine. So in those days, 2 rupees, it means it is almost equal to 200 rupees now. So if you are absent for one day and the next day, if your teacher asks for 200 rupees, will you pay? No, you will bring your parent the next day, isn't it? So during that time, if the teacher had given a punishment, we had to accept that and we had to pay the fine. There is no other option. See here. So 10 days attendance cancelled, 2 rupees fine, and the whole day to be spent on the desk. And the whole day he had to stand on the desk. So it was a great punishment. So what were the punishment given to the child? 10 days attendance cancelled, 2 rupees fine, and whole day, the entire day he had to stand on the desk. The third said that he had an attack of headache. The fourth said that he had a stomach ache. The fifth said that his grandmother died suddenly just as he was starting for school. So the second child said that when he had been coming to the school, there was a person, there was a loafer. He said that there would be no school. Then the third said that he had an attack of a headache, and the fourth said that he had a stomach ache. So usually when you are not attending the class, what reasons you are telling to your teacher? I will tell you 3 of the very common reasons. One is you went to village. The second one, headache. Village, headache, and the third one is a function. Sir, I went for a function. These are the 3 common reasons that you use to say to your teachers when you are absent from the class. Then the fifth said that, so here we go. The fifth said that his grandmother died suddenly just as he was starting for school. So the fifth said that he got ready on that particular day. He wore his dress, he put on his shoes and everything was ready. He carried his bag and he was just coming out of the house. Suddenly what happened? His grandmother died. The headmaster asked him if he could bring a letter from his father. Then the headmaster said that, okay, your grandmother died. I agree with you. What you have to do? You have to just bring a letter from your father. Then, no, he had no father. Then the boy said that the boy had no father. Then who was his guardian? His grandmother. But the grandmother was dead. Was she not? No, it was another grandmother. The headmaster asked how many grandmothers a person could have. So when the boy said that his grandmother died due to that, I did not attend the class yesterday. So the headmaster asked, you have to bring a letter from your parent, your father. Then the boy said that I had no father. Then the headmaster asked, who is your guardian? Who is looking after you? Then the boy said that my grandmother. Then the headmaster asked, your grandmother already died. And how many grandmothers a person could have? So this is a great question, isn't it? You can have 2 grandmothers, isn't it? Your father's mother and your mother's mother. Okay, see here. No answer. Could he bring a letter from his neighbors? So if you bring a letter from your neighbors, that's fine. Anybody will ask a letter from neighbors? Your teachers will ask a letter from your neighbor? No, she will never ask, isn't it? But here the principal asked her, your grandmother died, that's fine. You have to bring a letter from your neighbor. No, he could not. None of his neighbors could read or write. He said that all the neighbors were in my neighborhood, they didn't know how to read and write because he lived in a very illiterate part of Element Street. So he is living in a very illiterate part of Element Street. Element Street is the name of a street where the boy lives. So he said that I cannot bring a letter from my father because I don't have a father. I cannot bring a letter from my grandmother because grandmother is already died. I cannot bring a letter from my neighbor because the neighbor doesn't know how to read and write because he's living in an illiterate part of Element Street, which is situated in Thiruvananthapuram, which is the capital city of Kerala. Then the headmaster offered to send a teacher to this illiterate locality to ascertain from the boy's neighbors if the death of the grandmother was a fact. Somehow the headmaster wanted to know whether the boy is speaking true or false, truth or not. Then the headmaster decided that I will send one of my teachers to that Element Street to ascertain, to find out whether the boy is telling the fact or not. A pause, some perspiration. Then suddenly the boy stopped speaking and there was sweat on his body. From that we can understand that the boy is exactly telling a lie. When you tell lies, what happens? Your body starts sweating, isn't it? Your body starts sweating when you speak something wrong. Otherwise, there is no need to fear. If you are not fear, there is no need of perspiration. So, in the past, the headmasters were like that only. If you are telling some lies, if we were used to tell some lies, the headmaster wanted to ascertain whether we were telling the truth or not. That's why here the headmaster decided that he's going to send one of his teachers to his locality to make sure that the boy's grandmother died. A pause, a stop, some perspiration, and then the answer that the neighbors could not possibly know anything about it. Then the boy said that the boy might have thought for some time, and again he found a reason. What was that? His neighbors didn't know that his grandmother died because the grandmother died in the village. The grandmother lived in the village. So my neighbors, they didn't know. The headmaster hit him on the knuckles with his cane. The headmaster clearly understood that the boy was lying. The headmaster clearly understood that the boy was lying. Then the headmaster hit him on the knuckles. Knuckles, it means this part of the hand, this part of the hand. Hit him on the knuckles with his cane. Cane, it means stick. Called him a street dog. Called him a street dog. Have you ever been called as a street dog by your teacher? If a teacher calls the students now in the present situation a street dog, it will be a terrible situation, isn't it? You will tell your father along with his friends would come to the school and beat the teacher. Isn't it? So in the past, whatever the teachers called as a dog, a pig, a buffalo, we had to tolerate that because the situation was like that only. But now the situation had changed, isn't it? The headmaster hit him on the knuckles with his cane, called him a street dog, and pronounced the punishment 15 days suspension. The boy was suspended from the school for 15 days. So you never had an experience like that. So in the past, if the child had committed something wrong, the teachers used to give him some punishment like 15 days suspension from the school. 15 days, he cannot attend the class. He had to sit in the home itself. He cannot come to the school and attend the classes. So it was also a great punishment. Okay, let's move on to the next paragraph. When Swaminathan's turn came, so here we go with Swaminathan. So now it's the turn of Swaminathan to speak. He's our main character of the story, isn't it? When Swaminathan's turn came, he looked around helplessly. He looked around helplessly. He hoped that he would get some help from one of his friends. But he looked around, but nobody is looking at him because everybody is in tension, isn't it? Except the 15 students, those had attended the class previously. I mean, on the previous day, they were happy. They were happy. The remaining all the students who had kept away from the classes the previous day were in tension. Rajam sat on the third bench in front. On the third bench, there he had a great friend named Rajam. Rajam sat on the third bench in front and resolutely looked away. Rajam, his best friend, he is not looking at Swaminathan. Swaminathan might hope that he would get some help from Rajam, but Rajam is not at all looking at Swami's face. He was gazing, he was looking at the blackboard intently. So when you are in trouble, you look around for your friends to help, isn't it? To get some help. But here, when Swaminathan looked around helplessly, there was nobody to help him. Swaminathan always thought that Rajam was my best friend. Whenever I am in trouble, I would get some help from my best friend Rajam. But here, Rajam is looking away from Swaminathan. Rajam is not even looking at Swaminathan's face. So Swami is in a great trouble. Swami thought that he would get some help. But Rajan was gazing, looking at the blackboard intently. Rajan was looking at the blackboard. He is not taking his eyes away from blackboard and looking at Swaminathan. Swaminathan might feel angry towards Rajam. See here, there is a picture. You could see that picture. Swaminathan is hiding behind somebody and looking at the headmaster. What's the headmaster doing there? He is punishing a child, a student. But yet the back of his head and pink ears were visible to Swaminathan. But Swaminathan could see one thing. What was that? The back of his head, whose Rajam's and pink ears were visible to Swaminathan. It was an intolerable sight. It was an intolerable sight. It means Swaminathan couldn't adjust with the circumstances. Swaminathan thought that Rajam would look at him and help him. Rajan will give him a solution. But Rajam was not at all looking at Swaminathan. Swaminathan was in acute suspense. Swaminathan was in serious suspense. Let that head should turn and fix its eyes on his. So Swaminathan hoped that Rajam would turn his head and look at Swaminathan. But is Rajam looking at him? Rajam would never look at him. Rajam didn't want to help Swaminathan in this situation. Nobody can help Swaminathan because just in front of them, who was standing there? The fierce headmaster was standing there. He felt that he would drop from the desk to the floor if that happened. So he felt that he would drop from the desk to the floor if that happened. If Rajam is looking at Swaminathan, he would be very happy because he would get some help from Rajam. If Rajam is giving Swaminathan an idea to escape from this situation, Swaminathan would be happy, isn't it? But Rajam is also helpless in this situation. The pink ears, 3 benches of made him incapable of speech. If only somebody would put a blackboard between his eyes and those pink ears. The pink ears, 3 benches of, Rajam made him incapable of speech. It means that when you are in a very difficult situation, you think that your friend would come and help you. Suddenly, the friend told that he would never help you. Then what would you do? You cannot do anything. You become speechless, isn't it? So here, the same thing had happened to Swaminathan also. Swami thought that whatever the situation is, Rajam would come and help. But Rajam never came to help Swaminathan. So it made him incapable of speech, unable to make a speech. If only somebody would put a blackboard between his eyes and those pink ears. So Swaminathan thought that if somebody keeps something in between Rajam's eyes and those blackboard, Raja might look at Swaminathan, but there is no chance at all. Why did you keep away yesterday? The headmaster asked to Swaminathan. Why didn't you attend the class yesterday? Asked the headmaster, looking up. Why the headmaster looked up? Because the Swaminathan was standing on the desk. Swaminathan's first impulse was to protest that he had never been absent. The first thing that came to Swaminathan's mind was that he had to tell that he had never been absent. Sir, I was not absent. I came to the class yesterday. This is what Swaminathan wanted to say in the beginning. But the attendance register was there, but he cannot lie because the attendance register was there. If the headmaster checks the attendance register, he could easily find out that Swaminathan was absent on the previous day. No, I was stoned. So it was not good to say that he had come to the class the previous day. No, I was stoned. Stoned, it means I was not able to make a movement. I was not able to tell something. That's why Swaminathan was stoned. Then something he had started to tell. I tried to come, but they took away my cap and burned it. So Swaminathan, in his mind, he is telling something. I tried to come to the school, but they took away my cap and burned it. While I was coming to the school, somebody was there on the road. They took away my cap and burned it. Many strong men held me down when I tried to come. When I tried to come to the school, there was somebody. They dragged me back. They held me back and told me that you should not go to the school today. When a great man is sent to gaol, when a great man is sent to a jail, I am surprised to see you a slave of the Englishmen. Didn't they cut off Decamuslin, slaves of slaves? So these were the sentences that came to Swaminathan's mind when the headmaster asked the reason for being his absence for the school on that particular day. But do you really think that all these sentences had any connection with the question asked by the headmaster? No connection at all. In his mind, there were some sentences which he wanted to express, which he wanted to tell to the headmaster, but nothing came out of his mouth. And one another thing is that these sentences had no connection with the question asked by the headmaster. You see the first sentence. I tried to come, but they took away my cap and burned it. So I tried to come to the school. Then somebody was there on the roadside. They took away my cap from my head and they burned it. Many strong men. When I was coming to school, there were many strong men. They held me down when I tried to come. When a great man is sent to gaol, when a great man is sent to gaol, it means jail. So this particular sentence doesn't give you any meaning because it is not related to the situation. I am surprised to see you a slave of the Englishmen. I am surprised to see you a slave of the Englishmen. Did this sentence have any connection with the present situation? No. Didn't they cut off Decamuslin? Who is Decamuslin? Slaves of slaves. So some. These were some of the disjointed explanations which streamed into his head and which even that moment he was discreet enough not to express. A lot of sentences came to his mind, but he didn't say a word to the headmaster. When the headmaster is asking, when your class teacher is asking you whether you had written your homework or not, if you're keeping silence, what happens? The teacher is able to understand that you didn't write your homework. Then the teacher will punish you. See, these were some of the disjointed explanations which streamed, which moved into his head, and which even at that moment he was discreet. He was very careful enough not to express. He had wanted to mention a headache. Actually, Swaminathan wanted to tell the headmaster that I had a headache yesterday. That's why I didn't attend the class. But he found to his distress. But he found to his extreme pain that others beside him had one. Already some other students told that they had an attack of headache. That's why again and again, if everybody is telling that they had a headache on the previous day, the headmaster will definitely understand that everyone is telling the lies, isn't it? So actually Swaminathan wanted to say that he had a headache, but before him somebody told that reason. Then he is not going to repeat that. The headmaster shouted, "Won't you open your mouth?" He brought the cane sharply down on Swaminathan's right shoulder. So what happened? The headmaster asked, "Won't you open your mouth?" He brought the cane it means stick, sharply down on Swaminathan's right shoulder. He hit on the right shoulder of Swaminathan. Swaminathan kept staring at the headmaster with the tearful eyes. So suddenly, Swaminathan's eyes filled with tears. So when your teacher punishes you, will you laugh? No, you will start crying, isn't it? Suddenly your eyes will be filled with tears. So here the same thing happens. Swaminathan kept staring at the headmaster with tearful eyes, massaging with his left hand the spot where the cane was laid, massaging with his left hand, right shoulder, left hand, massaging with his left hand the spot where the cane was laid. "I will kill you if you keep on staring without answering my question," cried the headmaster. Then the headmaster said that, "I will kill you if you don't tell me the proper reason for being absent yesterday." If your teacher is telling that I will kill you if you don't tell me the reason, what would you do? What would you do then? So nowadays, no teacher is telling like that, isn't it? Nowadays, no teacher is telling like that. But in the past, they could call the students like street dogs, pigs, buffaloes. No problem. Students had to tolerate with the situation because they cannot complain. They knew that it was their fault. But nowadays, what happens? If a teacher calls you street dog, you will go to your home, then tell your father that my teacher called me today a street dog. Your father would get angry. He will call his friends and they all come to the school and create some trouble, isn't it? So nowadays parents had a domination over the teachers. But in the past, the situation was different. Parents used to go to the teacher and stand like this. But nowadays, parents are very strong, isn't it? Stronger than the teachers. They are in a commanding situation. Teachers had to stand like this nowadays. So in the past, teachers had respect everywhere. Nowadays, the momentum is a little bit decreasing. Okay, see here. Swaminathan kept staring, looking steadily at the headmaster with tearful eyes, massaging with his left hand the spot where the cane was laid. "I will kill you if you keep on staring without answering my question," cried the headmaster. Here, cried the headmaster, it means shouted the headmaster. The headmaster shouted that, "If you don't open your mouth, I will kill you. Tell me the reason. Why did you keep away from the school yesterday?" Then headmaster, I couldn't come, stammered Swaminathan. Stammered Swaminathan. You know what is called stammering? Stammering, it means you are repeating the first alphabet of a word again and again. So for somebody, it's a kind of disability. It's a kind of disability. Some persons, they have problems with their speaking. So when they are calling somebody like Rehu, Rehu. So the first alphabet R may be pronouncing again and again. So this is a speaking disability, stammering. But in this context, Swaminathan doesn't have stammering, but because of fear, it happens. I couldn't come, stammered Swaminathan. "Is that so?" asked the headmaster, and turning to a boy said, "Bring the peon, bring the peon." Then the headmaster said to one of the boys from that class, "Go and bring the peon." Swaminathan thought, what is he going to ask the peon to thrash me? Why the headmaster is calling peon? Well, why the headmaster is going to ask the peon to beat me, thrash me, beat me? If he does any such thing, I will bite everybody dead. If the headmaster is asking the peon to beat me, I will bite everybody dead. The peon came. the headmaster said to him, now say, what do you know about this rascal on the desk? When the peon came, the headmaster asked, what do you know about this rascal on the desk? Rascal, who is rascal here? Swaminathan. Who called him rascal? The headmaster called him rascal. So here the headmaster asked the peon, what do you know about this rascal on the desk? The peon eyed Swaminathan with a sinister look. The peon eyed Swaminathan, looked carefully at Swaminathan with a sinister look. Sinister, a horrific look. Grunted. Grunted, it means a small sound came from the mouth, throat, and demanded, didn't I see you break the panes? Didn't I see you break the panes of the windows? So usually our windows has a glass panes. In our houses, you could say the windows has a glass panes. So one day what Swaminathan did was that he took a stone and threw at the window. So here the peon had seen Swaminathan throwing the stone at the window panes. Didn't I see you break the panes of the ventilators in my room? Added the headmaster with just it means enthusiasm. Just it means enthusiasm. So Swaminathan was a very mischievous child. Swaminathan was a very mischievous child. So he had done a lot of mischievous acts. One of the acts which he had done was that he took a stone and threw at the principal's window panes. Principal's window panes. So accidentally something happens when you play on the playground. When you hit the cricket ball, it may break the panes of somebody's windows, isn't it? But here, because of angry towards the school, because of the angry towards the headmaster, what Swaminathan did? Swaminathan took a stone and threw at the window panes of the headmaster's room. So the headmaster had an enthusiasm. Finally, headmaster got Swaminathan because he had done something mischievous. Of the ventilators in my room, not here, not window panes, but ventilators panes. Okay, the remaining 2 paragraphs will be taught in the next session. Remaining 2 paragraphs will be taught in the next session. So the last slide we cannot finish in this session, I think. Okay, already the time is almost over. So in this lesson, we have been learning about a mischievous child. So this child did not attend the class the previous day, and when the headmaster came to the class, he hoped that he would get some help from his friend Rajam. He didn't get. When the headmaster asked him, he was speechless. He is not able to tell a reply, a good reason to the headmaster. So the headmaster got very angry and he hit him on the right shoulder. So after that, the headmaster called the peon and asked him, do you know something about this rascal? Then the peon said that I saw him breaking the panes of the headmaster's ventilator. So the remaining things will be learned in the next session. Hope you all understood the session, and thank you all. We will be continuing in the next class.